Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3950. Somehow, I'm not really sure about the number. Today's date is the 3rd of February. Yeah, 3rd of February 2025. It's been almost like a morning at 9:26 a.m. Alright, let's just ask bunch of questions to myself. Alright, yeah. Okay, before I ask a question, I have to be kind of like a confession regarding about myself. Okay, yeah. Okay, regarding about reading, yes. First of all, is that why am I reading books? Okay, yeah. First of all, is that resolution. I set a resolution in 2026 that I should supposed to be read books. Okay, yeah. And I am reading book. I make sure that I read book half an hour every single day. Okay, yeah. um, Reason one. Reason two, why I read books. Okay, yeah. I am kind of like simply publishing my book. Okay, my artifact book. Okay, yeah. And how I writing this book. Basically, I'm not writing like basically the stuff that I kind of like say in this artifact episode. I upload this video on YouTube platform. YouTube converted subtitle, automatic subtitle. I copy that subtitle, put it into ChatGPT, add the prompt that key, make the text as good as possible as you can, kind of like as better as you can, and things and that. It does it. It kind of like a create a kind of like such a text that kind of like a really love to read and things and that. I combine all those texts, like I kind of like a record almost like a 4,000 artifact till now. Okay, yeah, it's a 3,000 something, but I also kind of like a record such a video that doesn't really have any kind of like a number and things and that. So that's why it counts almost like a 4,000 plus artifact. Okay, yeah. So I'm creating this book, My Artifact episode, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Now, first of all, why am I kind of like creating this book? What is exactly the reason? Reason is that first of all is that I wanted to kind of like consume my artifact. Okay, yeah. And if I wanted to consume this artifact, it's not really possible for me to kind of like watch and listen the artifact what I kind of like said and things and that, because it's not possible, because each artifact kind of like takes almost like a 15 to 20 minute. Okay, yeah. So 15 to 20 minute into 4,000, so how much time it takes, like let me calculate first. Okay, yeah. I'm not really good at mathematics, but let me calculate why my mother's phone is kind of like so much hanging. Yeah, wait. Calculator. Okay, so basically is this thing 20 minute. Okay, yeah, into almost like a 4,000. Okay, yeah. So 4,000, that means 80,000 minute. Okay, yeah. 80,000 minute. Yeah, 80,000 minute. So 80,000 minute divided by 60. Okay, yeah. So it takes almost like a 1333, means like that 1,333 hour. Okay, yeah. If I divided into kind of like a something days, so basically 24 na. Okay, yeah. So 24, so probably it will gonna take me 55 days to listen all my artifact, and without any stop and things and that, like just kind of like a started listening artifact for non-stop 55 minutes. I shouldn't have to do anything at all. It's not really possible for me to consume all those artifacts. Okay, and it's not really possible for me to consume, even if I try to do this thing, it's not really possible for me to kind of like do this thing. So what exactly best way to consume artifact is by reading artifact. Okay, yeah. And as I mentioned the process, like I kind of like copy that subtitle, put it into ChatGPT, convert this thing and that. So it kind of like something is this thing, it kind of like a readable text that I could able to kind of like read and things and that. Okay, yeah. And yeah, but this is not the reason why you kind of like make the book. Yeah, first reason is that you wanted to read the book. Another reason is that Basically is this thing na ki I haven't really read that many books. Okay, yeah. So I'm not really sure that ki why this book will kind of like add something value to the people. I'm not really sure about that. But it will kind of like a somebody, that book is kind of like a tell my journey, okay, regarding about who I was, what is actually my thought process, what is actually my dreams, and what is actually everything. Okay, yeah. And but like why does people will gonna kind of like somebody read your thought process and things and that why does people read that thing like basically is this thing now you should supposed to be kind of like a provide such a thing that people love to read. Like is this people kind of like really interested in you? Obviously they will not. Okay, yeah, obviously they will not interested in me. But like basically is this thing, what is actually this book, what is actually this artifact book is kind of like a for like a no, definitely they will not gonna kind of like interested in me. They will not gonna kind of like a know what exactly I've been through and things and that. But this book is a kind of like a somebody offering a such a thing or serving a such a value that normal people does not. Okay, normal book does not. Okay, yeah, I think I'm not really sure about that because I haven't read that many books. Okay, yeah. This book is kind of like only represent honesty. This book represent consistency. This book represent that kind of like a raw thought process. Okay, yeah. It's kind of like a things that na it just connect. I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. What kind of like a something this book is actually offering to the people. It's very hard to explain. I was kind of like reading a book, Psychology of Money. Okay, yeah, this book is also really good. And also simultaneously I read my book too. Okay, yeah. Now Psychology of the Money, this book is a kind of like a somebody just a text. Okay, yeah, nothing really at all. And I'm reading this book and it felt like that ki, like when you read the book, like legitimately when you are in that particular zone, then you kind of like understand that fact and things and that. But still I think that now I am not in that particular zone. Like what is actually zone? Okay, yeah. So there are different kind of like a somebody reading zone. Okay, yeah. Okay, what exactly is this thing zone means what? Why we read books? Okay, yeah, we read book because of that we get the information. Okay, yeah. Now how do we get the information? We get the information by kind of like a somebody accepting the information or understand the kind of like a mechanism inside our head and things and that. Example, if I kind of like a visualize to you that ki how does 4-stroke cycle engine work in animation kind of like a video, you might gonna understand. Okay, yeah, because it's a visual point of perspective and humans are kind of like a really good at visual understanding. Okay, yeah. But if I kind of like a somebody explain this entire scenario in kind of like a text format, then you might not understand. Okay, you might not understand. Oh yeah. But there is a one thing is that ki not every knowledge kind of like somebody visualize. We have kind of like somebody AI and things that we could supposed to visualize, but not every knowledge are actually available in kind of like somebody visual format. So sometime the information is actually exist in text language. Okay, yeah. Now I am not really good at converting text into the kind of like somebody the visual things. Okay, yeah. Like basically this thing, if someone kind of like tell a story that ki I wake up this, it happened this, it happened this, it happened this. Like when someone kind of like told you something now, you kind of like create a picture regarding about how this actually happened and things and that, and then because of this picture you grasp the image. Okay, yeah. Now if someone kind of like wrote something in a diary or something like that, and when you try to read it, you might not visualize that easily. Why is that? Because there is a lot of constraint, the reading, the words, the complex concept and things and that. So I'm not really good at, like I'm not like I can able to read. Okay, it's not really that I can't read, I can able to be read, but the conversion from reading to visualization is take time, or I'm not kind of like visualizing the text format. Okay, I'm not visualizing the text format that much. Some people are there. I know there are so many people who can convert that text into the visualization so rapidly, and they could absorb that information so rapidly. but I can't. Okay, is because of that I just started reading, and I think that I am not that pro reader, so that's why I'm not really consuming that much information that much, that well, that fast. I can't do that thing. So basically it's for me, it's a kind of like a very hard to consume the information which is actually which is actually kind of like a written on the book. Okay, yeah. And I wanted to change that habit. I wanted to kind of like consume that information in the text format. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of like simply reading the book and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Now basically is this thing, what kind of like something the value that add, what kind of like some value that it add to the people, like if I kind of like if I write my book, this artifact, what kind of like a value it add to the people. Okay, yeah. As I mentioned, when I watched the psychology of the book, this kind of like a psychology of the money, this kind of like a book I was kind of like a reading. This book is a kind of like a very hard to consume. Okay, very hard to consume, the knowledge and the information, the text, little bit really hard to consume, as well as the author is actually from United States, US. So his language, the way that he speaks the English is a bit more different than the way that we speak English. Okay, yeah, like Indian speak English. Okay, because the language is not a kind of like a barrier, but something like the like something that is something, I don't know how to I supposed to explain this thing. Okay, yeah, the language is kind of like something same. I can able to understand English. Okay, yeah, you can able to understand English, but it's a kind of like a things that na ki we don't really connect that much. Like basically if we are connecting in visual format, okay, yeah, in text format you might not connect that much. Okay, because of the different ethnicity, different religion, and different kind of like some demographic and things and that. Okay, yeah. So while I was kind of like reading this kind of like a psychology of the money book, it's very hard to consume information is because of the language and things and that. Okay, yeah. But when I read my book is a bit kind of like a very light to understand. Okay, yeah. As I mentioned, that in my book I kind of like I created my book in such a way that it shouldn't supposed to be lag. It shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a long text that you are kind of like constantly reading and nothing really happened. In my text, in my book, there is an entire text is converted into the title, subtitle. Okay, yeah. And each subtitle has its own paragraph and things and that. Okay, yeah. I also put the kind of like some bullet points. I also put the kind of like some the chart diagram. I also put the kind of like a multiple ways to execute the writing in such a way that people love to read and things and that. And as also the language is kind of like a far less easy. Like basically how I kind of like write the book. I didn't really write the book. Okay, whatever I kind of like said. That I copy that subtitle, put it into ChatGPT. I put the prompt that he make it engaging, correct the grammar, correct everything, make this text kind of like something easy to understand for a 10-year-old person. Okay, yeah. So basically when I put the prompt, ChatGPT kind of converts that text into such a way that at least like a 10-year-old person who can able to read, that person could able to understand, and which is kind of like something very easy for me, which is very kind of like a very easy for the people, so that they should supposed to be read and kind of like get the information as much as quickly as possible. As also is this thing, that the concept, I didn't really use very hard concept. Okay, yeah. If I use hard concept, I kind of like somebody, like when I try to talk, I kind of like somebody explain it very simple as possible. When I try to explain it very simple as possible, ChatGPT can explain even more easy as possible, so that it's very easy to consume that information. Okay, yeah. So this kind of like a value that I am providing to the people from this book. Okay, yeah. They will not only understand me, they will understand the kind of like a problem that I've been through, the everything. It's not really that I'm kind of like telling the kind of like a sad story about me. Definitely not. I mentioned so many stuff regarding about my thoughts, what is actually in my head, what is actually my kind of like assembly, my ambitions, my goal, everything. Okay, yeah. In as much as fun ways possible, and people will definitely gonna get some sort of amount of value from that book. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it does. Okay. Now the problem is that uh, I am kind of like converting this kind of like a artifact into the text. Okay, yeah. And that text is kind of like a bit more longer, like 4,000 episode means like that. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, if I make a book, I cannot able to make book more than 500 pages. Okay, yeah. If I make it, then I would not be able to publish in the Amazon KPD. So I have to make sure that my book is kind of like a assembly 500 pages. Okay, that's it. Okay, yeah. Now in the 500 pages, that means I could supposed to be add at least like 100 artifact, 100 or maybe, yeah, 100 artifact or 100 or 120 artifact probably. Okay, yeah. So the one book kind of like a consume, let's just say 100 or 150 artifact. Okay, yeah. So how many books should I supposed to be make? So basically I have 4,000 episode. Okay, yeah. So 4,000, wait, I'm gonna do the calculation. Okay, yeah. So 4,000 episode. Okay, yeah, I have divided by like how many, like let's just say 120 artifact. Okay, like basically 120 artifact required to make one book of 500 pages. So let's just say 120. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna make 33 books. Okay, I'm gonna make 33 books of this. Oh my god, 33 books. Like literally just like that my artifact episode volume 1, volume 2, volume 3 to volume 33. Oh my god. So it's kind of like a somebody is this thing like it's a very like a too much. Like a basically no one makes kind of like a 33 books. And I'm kind of like a making it 33 books. And I'm kind of like a somebody as squeezely as kind of like as complex as it can, and after all those things it's become 33 books. So it is too much. Okay, it is too much. So and another thing is that na ki if I just kind of like publish all those 33 books, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah. Let me tell you the process how I kind of like publish my book. So basically I make the book, like first of all I copy the text from YouTube, put it into ChatGPT, it convert into the readable text and things and that and that. Okay, I copy that text, put it into the Google Doc. Okay, yeah. I also kind of like create the image regarding about that particular artifact from the Gemini, put it into the kind of like some things, and yeah, it kind of like a yeah. So this text, this doc, Google Doc has a kind of like almost like a 500 pages of artifact and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Now what exactly happened when I create this 500 page of document? I print that document and I read that document. Like basically it's kind of like a really essential for me to read my book na. So I read my book and I kind of like somebody take a kind of like somebody note that key, okay, this is wrong, you have to remove this. I kind of like a point out kind of like a what is actually wrong, because yes, ChatGPT make mistakes too. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I kind of like make it kind of like a things that you have to change there. And after I read, after I always kind of like correct the version and things and that. Wait, oh boy. All right. So yeah, about the book. Okay. From this angle, I haven't really seen the inside. Whatever. Okay. So this is the book. Okay, yeah. So what was I talking? I was actually talking about the reading a book. Yeah. So basically, after I read 500 pages, I kind of like simply mark that this is kind of like you should supposed to be correct and things and that. Okay, yeah. And then after that, I correct the book. Okay, yeah. And after I correct the book, then I publish the book. Okay, on Amazon KPD. So for this process, okay, for this entire process takes a month. Yeah, literally a month. Means like that if I have to publish this 33 books, it took me it will gonna take me 33 months to publish all those 33 books. So 33 months means like that ki like probably Bhartik 36 means almost like a 2.5 year to publish this 33 book. And within this 2.5 year, I also create another artifact too. Like literally, I'm kind of like a creating almost like a 800 artifact per year. Okay, yeah. So probably is this thing. If I didn't really record artifact for 2.5 year, like I don't know how do I supposed to make like basically this thing. I have so much amount of kind of like a book I should supposed to be published, and another artifact I'm kind of like recording which will convert into the books too. So possibly this cycle will never gonna end. Literally never will gonna end. Like literally when I kind of like somebody publish my book, there is almost like a 200 artifact will gonna create new. So so probably is this thing that ki uh, and will I able to publish this book? I will gonna publish this book like a 33 volume or maybe 50 volume or maybe 100 all volume. I don't know. I'm gonna publish this thing. I don't know why, but like basically should I like a 33 books, that is a too much. Like each book is a 500 pages, like literally who will gonna read this? But I think that now people will, I don't know, I'm not really sure that people will gonna read or not, but I think I should supposed to be read my book. And basically what does it take? Nothing really at all, na. You just have to kind of like record the artifact and then probably just convert into this and that and that. Okay, yeah. So I was kind of like doing this calculation yesterday, and I thought that ki I can't kind of like somebody like I can't stop this thing. Okay, yeah, this cycle. Okay, yeah. So only way to kind of like stop this thing, or only way to kind of like making this kind of like as faster is that ki I should supposed to be read more. Okay, yeah. So what exactly? How am I reading right now? I am reading like a half an hour per day. Okay, yeah. Like basically it's this thing that ki I have two books. One book is a psychology of the money, and another book is my artifact. Okay, yeah. So half an hour I read psychology of the money. Half of hour I kind of like read my book. Okay, yeah. I spend only 1 hour to read book, not too much, because I think that na ki right now my capacity is not really that much that I could able to be read more than 1 hour. Okay, yeah. I try today. It does not like it does not kind of like a right for me. Okay, it feels like burden. Okay, feels like stress to me. So yeah, I will not gonna read more than 1 hour. Okay, it's not really that. So I should supposed to be stick with the kind of like a something half of hour, like a half hour psychology of the book, and half hour is my artifact. Okay, yeah. I wanted to like why are you not reading just your book? Like why are you kind of like reading two books? Two books are kind of like really essential for me, so that I would compare myself that what is actually actual book look like and what is actually my book. Okay, yeah. And how does it feels like basically if the actual book is kind of like a little less and my book is kind of like a little big, little good feeling, then yeah, I think that now I'm going on to right path. If another kind of like a book, or like another kind of like somebody like if I read this book is kind of like the psychology of the money is kind of like a look really good, like a feels really good, and my book is not really that good, then probably it's really need to be kind of like I have to be workout and things and that and that. So this is what is exactly is this thing. So basically this cycle will never gonna end. Okay, yeah. I have to be kind of like continuously reading my book for at least like for entire life. Okay, yeah, because this cycle will not gonna stop. Okay, yeah. Obviously I shouldn't supposed to be read more than 1 hour. Okay, yeah. 1 hour is a sufficient sweet spot that it's not really kind of like a feel really burden to me, and I could able to be read my artifact or read my books and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. So yes, this is a kind of like a confession. Like basically today I was kind of like a reading, I was kind of like a reading almost like a 1.5 an hour. Okay, yeah. 1 hour I read the book very nicely, very peacefully and things and that. But last half an hour is a kind of like a feel like a very struggling, very kind of like a something very torturing for me. Okay, it's not really that the book is not really good. Book is really good, but right now I'm not really like I think that I'm not really that pro reader at the moment. So I shouldn't supposed to reach there at the moment. Whatever, there are so many kind of like a stuff. Also, I'm kind of like a recording so many artifacts and things and that. I think that now reading would never gonna stop. It just not. Okay, just like basically I just have to read, and I just have to make this habit that I should supposed to be read 1 hour. Yeah, that is essential for me. Whatever. Okay, so let's just jump into the question. It's been almost like a 25 minute. I don't know how much I could supposed to be kind of like a talk. Okay, whatever. Let's just jump into the question. Okay, yeah. The question is that, wait. The question is that, okay, yeah. Am I being honest about why I really want this channel to succeed? Okay, why I'm being really honest about why I really want this channel to be succeed. Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question, and why am I asking this question to myself? This is kind of like a simply YouTube realization question. When I ask this question to myself, I realize myself that am I worthy enough to consider myself, am I YouTuber or not? And it is very much essential for me, so that I would know, like when I ask this question to myself, I would know more about myself, I would know more about as a content creator, I would know more about the YouTube platform, I would know more about kind of like a things that my effort and things, is it worth it or not, and things and that. It gives me a kind of like a something, is this thing that am I consider myself as a worthy enough to consider myself as a YouTuber or not, and things and that. All right, so that's why I'm kind of like asking this question to myself. Okay, now regarding about question, the question is that am I honest regarding about am I being honest about why I really want this channel to be succeed? Okay, means like that like I'm actually creating this piece of content. Okay, yeah, why you wanted to be succeed this channels, this success, this kind of like YouTube journey. Why? Well, like basically is actually asking this thing, that question, that why do you want to succeed as a YouTuber, or why do you want to succeed as a kind of like a thing? Why? Yeah, literally kind of like asking why. Okay, yeah. First of all is that every person are meant to do something in his life. Okay, yeah, and also I wanted to do something in my life too. Okay, yeah. Is YouTube is one of them? I think yes, yeah, because I try 9 to 5 job, and I was really suck at. I'm not really good at that, and I feel like that I am dying every single day. One reason. Another reason is that when I kind of like simply create this piece of content, I feel good, I feel freedom, I feel that I could execute my thought process in much more better way, because the YouTube is actually giving me that freedom, and it does feel good. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that in my entire period of lifetime, I always hide my creativity. I always hide all those kind of like a talent. I don't know is it talent or what, but I looked at world where I looked at the world very different point of perspective. Okay, yeah, and that perspective I could able to be share on social media platform. It gives me freedom. It gives me that I could express my craft, and it felt good. I am not earning any money. Okay, yeah, but also yes, I want to be earn money too. That is also a reason that I also want to earn money too. Okay, yeah. Like this is why I am kind of like doing this thing. Okay, yeah. Also another thing is that when I choose this career, it will kind of like unlock multiple potential thing that I could able to do in the future. I wanted to kind of like do my startup. I wanted to build the app and things and that. This will not gonna happen if this will not gonna happen if I'm not being a YouTuber or things like that. Because being YouTuber or being a social media influencer, I'm not considering myself as an influencer. I am not influencing anybody at the moment. I'm not really sure in the future. Okay, yeah. But is this thing that it kind of like when you are a social media person, you understand people a lot more better than a normal person. Okay, yeah, because you understand people point of perspective, what does the people want to know and things and that. my YouTube journey, YouTube will kind of like tell me that perspective, or I will gonna learn from people point of perspective and things like that, which will kind of like really help me to establish my startup in the future, to how do I supposed to start up and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Do I want to prove somebody that am I that person or not? No, I don't want to prove anyone to anything at all. Why is that? Because I think that na ki it's a really essential that ki my reason for doing this thing is for me, it's for my better future, it's for the person I wanted to be. It's not for the kind of like the things that I should supposed to be kind of like somebody tell somebody that I am that person or things like that. I don't. Okay, yeah. It's not really that. Like like basically it's this thing na ki yes, like in the future I will gonna get succeed, and people will kind of like say this thing, okay, this person is really good and that and that and that and that. Do I want this thing, like a basically praise from somebody? Like if I'm gonna say this thing that I don't want, I might be wrong. Why is that? Because like a basically what is actually word for that? A validation, yeah. Like basically you seek for validation, I seek for validation too. Okay, we are all are human and we all seek for the validation. We did something right, like we put the effort, you put the effort, I put the effort, and after we all put the effort, we need that ki someone kind of like tell us that you did something really good. Okay, yeah. And that validation never really get anyone. Like basically we are so busy, we don't really have any time to give any kind of like a validation and things like that. So do I want this validation from this social media platform? No, not at all. But yes, I expect it. Okay, yeah. Like I don't want that ki someone give me validation or things and that. But yeah, I do expect things. But still, I believe that ki like basically this validation will it just kind of like you think that na ki if I get this validation, then I would consider myself as a bigger than things. No, I think that na ki if I get the validation, I would consider myself that it will kind of like build me little bit confident inside of me, and that confidence will kind of like somebody let me do something even more bigger stuff that I wanted to be. Okay, yeah. I'm not really sure. Okay, I don't know. Like basically, is this thing na ki why am I kind of like somebody I have this channel, or what is actually reason for this channel actually exist? Because of freedom, because of I could express my creativity, because of money. Yes, I want money too. It's not really that I don't really want money, and because of I am not fit into the kind of like a structural societal thing. Like I'm not fit into a job. I can't do a job. Like literally, I can't. I kind of like try myself almost like a 4 year of my life to kind of like try to work in the job. I can't. I realize very late in my life, but I can't. So yeah, these are kind of like a somebody factor are kind of like a responsible for me for this channel is actually exist, and I'm really honest regarding about that. All right, this is it. I should supposed to be end here, and bye.